What's up, guys? We're back. Another great YouTube video from me. If you guys don't know, I'm Eli and I have some pretty insane story times. All three of them are pretty short, so I thought I'd just put these three insane story times all together in one video just so you have longer content and more information to watch. If you guys like any of these stories, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I got a new vlog setup. I got a mic, light, lens, everything. Look at this, Chris. Ooh, I got a new camera. I'm super excited. Okay, guys, so all these story times are true. I'm gonna try to refrain from saying certain people's names in it. And yeah, let's just get started with the first one. Oh my god, I don't even... Okay, guys, so this first story time takes place in 6th grade. And man, was 6th grade a year. I remember I had a bunch of friends. You know, it was becoming towards the end of the year, and I don't know if you're from America or not, but once you get to 6th grade, that is the end of elementary school, and then you jump to junior high, and that's like a whole new world because you're going through puberty, life's going on, blah, 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 blah. But 6th grade is that like awkward phase where you're like way older than all the kids. Well, duh, yeah, you're older than all of them because you're in 6th grade. I just feel like 6th grade is that one pivotal stage that they should be in junior high already, but they still left it in elementary. I went to a school out here in Anaheim called Riverdale Elementary. It got bulldozed, so RIP to Riverdale, you don't exist no more. It's okay. All my memories are wiped away. I'll never be able to revisit them. But they bulldozed the school to make these very beautiful, expensive $1 million homes. Honestly, yeah, it was a little ratchet school. So, deuces. When you're in 5th grade, everybody wanted this one teacher for 6th grade. No, I'm not gonna say his name. But everyone in elementary school wanted Mr. S. They wanted him so bad because he was the fun teacher. Everybody was friends with him after they left elementary school. People would come visit him. And I remember throughout 5th grade, I like introduced myself to Mr. S. And I was like, oh man, I really hope I get his class. It's gonna be amazing. He's such a cool teacher. Everybody loves him. And so once 5th grade ended, 6th grade came around and I got my schedule and I had Mr. S. I was so pumped. To be honest, from what I remember, which is not much, but 6th grade was such a good year for me. Like, I was just friends with everybody. I never had beef. I've never fist fought anyone at school, especially elementary school, because I feel like elementary school is when you like really deck a kid and you're allowed to, and they're just like, no, don't do that. But yeah, I never really like had any fights or drama, and drama doesn't really exist in elementary school. Everyone's just like friends, and if anything, it's like you had a crush on this person. You're like, ooh, K-I-S-S-I-N-G. So for my school, we had sex ed in 6th grade. We had it in the class. They had the lights dim. That's one weird thing that I remember is the lights were dim in the classroom while they were explaining to us sex ed. I remember my parents didn't tell me at the time, like they just let my teachers break it to me. And I had a convo with my parents later on about it. Like, we learned about sex ed and I was just like my mouth dropped. I had no clue. I was like, what? I remember too, we had the program before and after lunch. So when we took our break from sex ed, it was during lunchtime. And I remember that lunch being the most awkward lunch in my entire life because the boys looked at the girls weird, the girls looked at the boys, and we were just like, ew. Yeah, that was just like an experience of like, I don't know if some of the kids went through puberty, some didn't, I don't know. It was just a very awkward, weird phase in time in life. Fast forward to, there's like only a few months left of 6th grade. I'm killing with my grades. Hopefully, I think I was. We were all counting down. So Mr. S would always let us watch movies. We're gonna watch this nature video with elephants and gazelles and blah, 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 blah. I remember he wheeled the TV out and there was like the giant TV on that makes it mobile and you had to put it in the VHS. So he plays the video, we turn off all the lights, and I just remember he walked out like he had a phone call or something. I just specifically remember he left the classroom as we were watching this video. While the video was going on, it was very educational. Pretty sure people weren't paying attention. And then all of a sudden, the video goes shh, 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 and like literally does that. I'm not joking you. When I tell you, everybody was like, literally, it turned into porn. It turned into like straight up porn. And I was just like, oh my god. I remember everyone in the classroom started freaking out. I don't fully remember what transpired exactly. I remember that's when Mr. S came back into the classroom. I remember it was on for like 3 seconds tops. 3 seconds tops. He walks back in as it like just starts. When I tell you he like leaped like full into the air, went in, shut the TV off, like, oh my god. He was just like what you just saw right now, and he was panicking. I mean, like, and we were all just like in literal shock. He was just like, I want you to grab your magic erasers and just erase that from your memory. It just completely wiped that memory out. He was just like, please don't say anything, like, I promise you. He was like blaming it on a family member, let them borrow the VHS and they accidentally re-recorded over it. For me, that was my first time seeing anything like that too. I was just like, because my parents always made me cover my eyes in the movies, but then you kind of be like this, but I straight up saw it like this. It was just in literal insane. We all loved Mr. S so much, we never told our parents. He didn't get fired, still being a teacher for a long time. To this day, I think he really had pure intentional motives, like he wasn't trying to expose us to that. I just really think his own personal thing accidentally like leveraged onto this VHS. I just remember that was the most awkward, one of the top most awkward moments of my life. That's my story for the first story time, and I hope he's doing well. But yeah, that's that story. Okay, story time number 2. In high school, my parents would leave to work really early and get out of work really early. So I would have to walk to school. There was no bus stops or anything nearby where my house is. And a lot of my friends from like growing up, I just wasn't friends with them anymore. So I had friends, but they lived in other areas of my high school. So I would have to walk to school a lot. And that is a 3-mile hike. And when I say hike, it's a literal hike because it's all uphill. And it would take me an hour just to walk from home to school. Then after school, I would walk from school to home. That would take another hour. So I would literally have to wake up like an hour and a half early before school. I would even barely make it right when the bell rings all the time. Sometimes it'd be really cold, so then I'd wear a jacket, and then sometimes it'd be really hot after school, so I'd wear that jacket and then I have to take it off and then put it in my backpack, and then I'd have to carry all my books and then try to leave them in my lockers and this and that. So I did that for like my first 2 years of high school. If you guys don't know, I actually also have really terrible vision. It wasn't towards like the middle of high school I started wearing contacts, and just recently I got LASIK eye surgery, so I don't wear anything. Also too, I would recommend LASIK if you're ever thinking about it. Best decision of my life. So like I said, I would walk to school, walk home, blah, 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 blah. Well, one day I wasn't wearing my glasses because I was just like, you know what? Like, I don't want to look like a nerd. Like, I don't want to walk with glasses. And what if people drive by and they see me and different things like that? I don't know. I was just, you know, when you're in high school, you're just so insecure about every single thing. One of my friends was like, dude, I saw you walking. Like, next time I'm driving by, I'll pick you up. And I was like, oh, okay. So the next day comes by, I'm walking home. I'm not wearing my glasses and my vision's really bad. Actually, both my parents wear glasses. That is why I have terrible vision. Now I know. They wear contacts, but they both have really bad vision. So yeah, makes sense. So one day I was walking home. It was really hot. I remember I was just only halfway through and I was just like dreading the rest of the way home. It's this weird road where there's no sidewalk. You're literally walking on the street. If you try to get off the street, then there's a ditch and then the hill just drops like 30 feet. I was always scared for my life too. Thanks, parents. So it was a hot day. I'm walking home and all of a sudden this car pulls over right in front of me. And then I see them waving or something like that. And I'm like, oh, that's my friend. He was just telling me he's gonna give me a ride next time he sees me. I was so happy. I remember I like ran to the car and then I just jumped in the back seat and I was like, thank you so much. And I look in the car because there's the driver and the passenger. So I could have sworn the passenger was my friend. And you know, me being blind, I couldn't see. Jump into the back seat and I'm like, wait, I don't know anyone here. I will say both of them were like in their 20s. And I was like, oh my God. And I already shut the door and they're just like, hi. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were my friends. I was walking home to school. And they're just like, no, it's cool. Wait, like, where do you live? And if you're young and you're in high school, like, don't do this. But I just had like, I was like, man, they're cool. So I told them where I lived and then they gave me a ride home. But they weren't my friends at all. They weren't even my friends' friends, but they were, you could tell they just graduated high school and I was like a freshman. So, I mean, the scenario wasn't that scary, but just, I don't know. It was just a crazy time, but that was the time I hopped into a stranger's car after school. Let's thank God that I'm still alive and here. Actually, now that I think about it, one time I was walking home and I got hit by a car. I literally did. On to story number 3. So if you guys don't know, which you probably should, I am a Disney fanatic. God, I hate that I said that. But I'm not, yeah, I was gonna say I'm not a Disney fanatic. I'm a theme park fanatic. I'm both because I love Disney. If you guys didn't know, I used to work at Disney. Hold on one second. Look at how cool this is. This is me and my name tag blown up into like a 3D block that you can put on your desk. I loved working at Disneyland, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm like doing what I always love to do, so I can't complain. So me going to Disneyland all the time, if you guys watch my vlogs, or actually I don't vlog that much at Disneyland, but on all my social medias, you know that I'm at Disneyland. I live in the same city, Anaheim, holding it down. When I worked at Disney, I made a lot of friends while I was there. Honestly, lifelong friends. I'm still friends with so many people from Disney, and a lot of them transferred to Disney World, and honestly, applaud them for that because it's hard to live in Southern California. What you're making at Disneyland and trying to live in SoCal is so expensive, but when you move to Florida, where Disney World is, you can transfer over. They're making the same amount of money, but the cost of living in Florida is so much lower that you're able to like live a great life, you know? I mean, Disney pays like a pretty decent amount. I mean, they could always raise, you know, what they're paying their employees. When you live in Orange County, it's so hard because the cost of living out here is insane. Well, in Florida, you can literally buy a house if you're like completely full-time and all that fun stuff. With that being said, I have a lot of friends that transferred from Disneyland to Walt Disney World. So I'm always visiting Disney World. I probably go almost twice a year. Shout out to my friends Keith, Darren, Ricky, Miranda. I have so many more friends out there. I always go and stay with them, and it's always a great time because visiting old friends, but then we all get to go to the theme parks together and ride rides, and then I got like hookups and different things like that. And honestly, I just love those people. So like Disney World's a plus, but like being with those specific people, they're probably the funniest group of people I know. I'm always laughing and having such a great time. So when I go, they have an apartment and like a bunch of them. It's like a big apartment, very luxurious. And so they have like 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, honestly, very spacious apartment. And so I always go and stay with them. The core main people that I always visit, there's people from Disneyland that transfer to Disney World, and sometimes they'll move in with them, or they'll move out, or they'll find their career job, or they'll move on from Disney. So sometimes it'll be different sets of roommates, but there's always like the main 3 that I always like see and hang out with. And of course, I love everyone else. I remember this one specific time I went to Florida and I stayed with my friends in the apartment. But one of our friends who worked in Adventureland and he worked in the trains in Disneyland, he moved to Florida, worked in Animal Kingdom, all that fun stuff. Well, he ended up moving away. So he had to fill his room up with a new roommate. Now, mind you this, everyone at Disney World is pretty young. They're all in their 20s. But when the friend moved out, they had to find like an emergency roommate. So they just found someone off the internet like, hey, we have an open room here. When I came, I stay on the couch or sometimes the guest bedroom. But this time, because all the rooms were kind of full, I stayed on the couch, and honestly, the couch is very comfy. I recommend it. And I was like, shoot, free place to stay, I'll take it. And it's with my friends. Like, I get to hang out with them all day. It's a win-win situation. Well, they had this roommate, and this roommate was creepy. When I say creepy, I mean like very, very weird. I never saw him. He was definitely in his like late 40s, maybe 50s. Nah, he was definitely in his 40s. They always told me like stories about him when we were at the apartment, like when we'd be at the parks or we'd go to a restaurant or different things like that, or we're just like going out and like grocery shopping and different things. They would tell me so many stories. Like one, this guy, he's an older single man, doesn't really talk, stays in his room the entire time. The only time they see him is when he goes to his room and when he leaves. And that he has a creepy cat that makes really weird noises that they're not even sure it's fully a cat, and the cat will never step foot outside of the room. Even with the door open and stuff, the cat will always stay in there as well. So like the cat's very well trained. They say he works really late hours. He didn't work for Disney, he just worked Orlando area, and that he would come home super early or leave super late. Like they would never really see him. Even though they had really crazy hours at Disney, they would still rarely see him. He would never make dinner in the kitchen. Just this overall really creepy guy. And just to give you like, I'm not trying to put anyone down, but he was a little bit hefty. There's a reason why I'm explaining that, because it'll come into play later in the story. You know, I'm out there, I usually stay out there for a week in Florida with my friends, just living our best life. Well, since I sleep on the couch, we would all stay up super late, watch some movies, and then we'd all crash. So then they would go to their rooms, I'd like crash, turn off the TV, fall asleep on the couch. I'm a pretty light sleeper, so like little noises always wake me up. So Panda's always constantly waking me up. But with that being said, I can hear when people come in and out of the apartment. So I heard when the man would come in, and I remember like their layout, the living room and kitchen and dining room is just one giant room. It's a very open concept. Like you can see everything just from almost any area of the living room, dining room, and kitchen, because there's just like islands and different things like that. And so he would come in, lock the door, and then just stand in the kitchen. They love to have their apartment pitch black. So I would see if he like opened the fridge or if he was doing something. So I'd wake up and then I'd like kind of peek just to see what he was doing. And he would just like kind of stand there, and I couldn't fully see because it was really dark, but he would just be like, from what it sounded like, he was just standing there breathing heavily. And it's like, why isn't this dude just normally going straight to his room? And I know they told him to, like, hey, our friend's gonna be staying on the couch, just so you know. So I don't know if he was just like trying to see who I was, or maybe forgot. The next day goes by and we try to never talk about the creepy roommate because we never knew if he was home or not. There would be a lot of noises always coming from that room. They never really knew the full concept. When he would come in and out, he would shut the door right away. Just overall very weird. I get it, the guy was probably just trying to live there and just like do his own thing. On my second to last night staying there, I fell asleep a little early and then I like knocked out. Next thing I know, I wake up and I hear And I'm not even joking you, like let's say I'm like sleeping right here. This dude was like right here, pretty much hovering and staring at me. But like I didn't make it obvious, but I was so fearful. Like, why is this guy staring at me? All the lights are off. It was so creepy. I mean, I had kind of like low-key nightmares, and I tried to like pretend to go to sleep, and I remember I made like a noise like I was stretching just to like freak him out so he would go away. And I was like, he like ran to his room. But I was just like, what the heck? That's so weird, like, and creepy. Why would you do that? Like, it's just like, especially since it's like, I remember I checked my phone after he went to his room. It was like almost like 2 or 3 in the morning. And the other time it was like 4 in the morning. And it was just like, I would hear him going in and out too to the restroom, and he would like stare at me. And it was so creepy. I'm just telling you, this man was just like, ooh, like, I don't know. I'm not assuming anything, but it was just very, very creepy. I told my friends the next day, and they're like, once you leave, we're gonna confront him, maybe try to kick him out. There's just like a bunch of other weird things that happened. And that was the time a really creepy old guy watched me sleep. I hope you guys enjoyed these crazy story times. They were insane. I felt like they were all a little bit short, but long enough to cram 3 insane, crazy story times for you guys. If you guys liked it, please give this video a thumbs up. I hope you guys love this new vlog setup. I got a mic, light, lens, new camera. I'm feeling good, and I miss you guys so much. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.